Yeah. Dr. Nidhi, can we start the session? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Over to you.
Everyone, and we will be discussing about how technology integration should be helpful. I could also see some of you are attending again, like you must have attended last year's session or previous year's session also. Some of them are repeatedly attending the SRG training. So this topic may look for a very familiar topic to you, but there will be some points we will be discussing today newly. So to just start with, I'll just share my screen first. So we will be actually discussing few points today. The points we'll be discussing about, I'm not going to discuss what is ICT, but just to recall what is ICT so that we all are on the same platform or on the same understanding when we use these words. And also we will be discussing about why technology and how to integrate. And we'll also be talking about certain points related to cyber safety and security, because these are very important points, but I'll not be taking this very in detail because you have a separate session on this. But whenever we are talking about integration, safety and safety and security has also should be inbuilt in that. So that in that concern, we will be discussing about that. So before we get into discussion, I would like everyone to participate in a small activity. So can I request everyone to, I'm just going to post a link in your chat box. So if you can click on this link and then share 3 new things which you have learned in the last 2 days. I think this is the 3rd day of your training. So if you can write, what are the 3 new things which you have learned in the last 2 days? So when you just click on this link, you will be getting a question like this. So you should write only one word in each box. The thing, whatever you have learned should be in one word. Don't write paragraphs. It's only one word you should write. So write 3 new things which you have learned. I'll give you a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, so that all of you are requested to respond to this question. We have got only 24 responses till now. So let's wait and see how many more. We have around 100 participants. Very good. We have got 93 responses already. Very good. But only 36 people have responded till now. We have got 100 plus response, but only 36 people have responded out of 100 plus participants. Let's take another 2 minutes. So from this, what I can see is most of you, when you have written here, there are certain words which are in a larger font. That means that many people have written that you have learned infographics, Audacity, Canva, H5P, VUE, and Lumi. So these are some of the things which are in a larger font. That means many have written this. Okay. So let's go ahead with the discussion on this. So many times when we learn something, we are very much fixed to the softwares. You can see here, mostly people have written about what software you have learned, right? But as part of the software, everyone learns certain things of why we are developing that, how we are developing, what are the formats, what does it use. So much you have learned. But when we tell to write, this is what it comes into our mind. Similarly, when we talk about ICT, many times we think ICT in terms of only digital tools. We think that it is computer, mobile, it's only software like that. But when we say the word ICT, it refers to creating, storing, retrieving, manipulating, sending, and receiving digital information. First important aspect is the information should be presented in the digital form. And anything you call it as ICT should be able to do all these things: creating, storing, retrieving, manipulating, sending, and receiving. Anything that can do all these six can be called as ICT. For example, if right now all of us participated in this activity, okay? If I want to say that during this training, I use ICT. So how I can tell that is, here you can see now the information is in digital form. And we have created this information. Around 52 people have given 152 response to create this word cloud. Word cloud is in digital form, but it is created as a digital information. The first point, creation of digital information has happened. And it has also got stored, right? I can store it and also retrieve it. How to, right now I have finished conducting this activity. So I want to conduct this again. So I can just go reset the result. So where did my answer go? Right? So I can go and see the history. So you can see that right now I'm just clicking on the session 3. So I could retrieve it back. I don't want to just go to the current. I have to clear it back. So that is what we mean by storing and retrieving. You are able to save it somewhere. Save, not just saving. By the process of saving, you are keeping it in store. And from there, you are able to retrieve it and also manipulate it. How I can manipulate? Still, I want people to just add to this point. So right now, even the activity is on. So I just wanted to manipulate and see it. I could also take this all 3 times I have stored it. This digital information, I can take it. And if I wanted to take a screenshot of it, maybe I'm writing a report of this particular session. So what I can do is I just take a print screen. I just open, I can take only this as a word cloud, which the participants have participated, right? So I can just take this and paste it into my report. So it becomes a digital image when I just take a screenshot and then paste it into a document. So it becomes a digital image which anybody can use it. So I can simply use that as an image. So that is what we manipulate. Manipulation can be deletion, addition, cropping, like no, whatever you are doing, altering anything or making copy of it is all manipulation. Only if the information is in digital form, one of the way to do it in a simpler way is possible. And we also send, for example, in this activity, 52 people have submitted your response from your mobile. You have sent it and I have received it in the digital form. You have submitted in digital form. I have received the information as digital information. So in this particular activity, I can easily claim that I'm using that ICT in my session. Why? Because I was able to do all the 6 things. But to do all the 6 things, what all I have used? I have used a software called Mentimeter, right? For me to connect to you, I have used now Zoom. So there are 2 softwares which is used, Mentimeter as well as Zoom. And also we have a physical device. I am using a desktop for me to get connected with you. You may use your desktop or mobile to connect with me. So there are some digital device also as part of. So in this case, even if we have to connect with this digital device, there is an internet availability compulsory. So there is an internet connection, network connection to it. So when I say, take this as an example, the network connectivity, the internet connection, the software, Mentimeter and Zoom, and the device we are using all together forms ICT. So ICT is not one single thing. ICT could be multiple things together which can help to do all these things. So this is what we mean by ICT when we go further for discussion. So let me ask all of you. If I put a question to you, like why do you need technology to be used in your classroom? Can you open your mic and speak? Why do you think you need technology to be used in your teaching learning process?
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir.
To make classes more interactive.
To make more classes interactive. Okay. Any others?
More
To make the class
interesting,
smart,
Ma'am,
More interesting. Okay.
more
make the class
enjoyable
smart,
classroom,
Sorry, can you repeat it, ma'am?
more enjoyable classroom
More
situation.
enjoyable classroom. Okay.
To provide, madam, variation of stimuli.
Ma'am, your audio is not very loud to hear. In chat box, somebody has wrote like it has helped to interactive and easy to understand. Okay. More effective. Okay. Any other answers?
For auditory and visual learners, for auditory
So
and yeah, visual learning.
helps in addressing multiple learners. Okay.
Yeah.
Learners of multiple likingness or multiple learning styles, we can say. Yeah.
Madam,
children these are more inclined to this type of learning than the traditional mode of learning. They are more
Okay.
inclined to these gadgets and all.
Okay.
madam, to break monotony.
Ma'am, your audio is very low. Any other answers? Visual learning is much easier than other method. So one small example, I asked this question now and ask you all to share your responses. How many of you shared your response? Very few people. I can count the number of people. Hardly 10 to 15 people have shared in chat box, or you could open your mic and speak. Okay, but within the same time, when I use the Mentimeter, I could get engagement from more than 50% of the participants, right? So right now, all your videos are off. I couldn't see even a single person who have kept your video on. So how do I know that you people are attending the session? Many people can switch off the video and do other works also. You may be busy in doing something else from your side. So we will not even know whether you are attending the class. When we say we can engage more people, especially in online sessions like this, most of the time all this time I was seeing the screen and talking. I don't know who is sitting on the opposite side. Right now, such a smiling faces. It gives energy to the speaker. I know there are people seriously watching the session. So I cannot bluff here. I should be careful about what I am taking in this session, right? So that engagement is not only from the learner side. When the teacher has to get engaged also in the teaching, there is a need for interaction between two of them. Is it true? So to enable that, there is a need for something. So when I ask question, hardly 10 people only could open your mic and speak. I was also not giving more time because otherwise I can listen from all of you one by one for the whole 1 hour. So time is very short. In less time, in using Mentimeter, I could get 50% of the participants participating, right? How many of you felt happy when you could see the answer on the screen? Can you raise your virtual hand? Virtual hand. How do you raise your virtual hand? There is a Zoom. In Zoom, there is an option to raise your virtual hand, right? Many of us felt happy, right? What is great about you participating in this activity? Are you going to get something? Because your name was also not noted to get attendance or anything, but still you were participating in the program. And when you could see your answer, you felt happy, right? That is what when we said like we want to make a joyful learning. So when we say joyful learning will come only when I'm part of it. I will not see somebody's achievement always and be happy about what is happening. Always we want us to be part of it to really be a joyful learner in the process of learning. So this is how technology can help. So this is an example how in online learning, how you can make people to be part of learning. If I'm not conducting a Mentimeter activity and I keep on talking, what will happen? What will happen? How long you will also listen? It will not really motivate you. Maybe because of force you're sitting, but it will not motivate you to really be part of the learning. So that's a normal human tendency, right? So we want to make the class interactive. Even in our classroom, it will be one-way traffic and it will be very monotonous and it will be boring. So that is what happens in our classroom also. Many times students feel very boring to our classroom because the teacher has to finish the syllabus. We keep on running. Actually, it's not the fault of the teacher. Teacher also doesn't want to run like that. Teachers wants to really make classroom more attractive, more interactive. They want children to enjoy the class. But there are restrictions. We don't have sufficient time to conduct activities. If I take one activity to do it in physical mode, sometimes it takes a lot of time, right? So that is where technology can support. Whenever there is a challenge, technology can be utilized for supporting in our classroom, right? So let us see some examples so that if you are having some internet difficulty like network connectivity issues, you can keep your video on, off. It's not by force. If you feel like you want to keep it on, you can keep it on, right? So let's move on to see some examples how really technology can help us, why we need to use technology. Some of all of us would have learned in our classroom, in our school days, that some of the interior angle of a triangle is 180 degree. So when you see this question, like when we ask this question to people, like how many of you, after like we did a small research with students after teaching this content, we asked how many of you believe that for any triangle, their interior angle sum will be 180 degree. Some students said that like my teacher has drawn only one triangle on the board and she measured and showed. So I know for sure that the interior angle sum of that triangle is 180 degree. But for any triangle, I cannot tell because I have not seen it. There were some students who told that my teacher in my class, when she was teaching this, she told all the 40 students to take the paper, cut triangle on your own, measure the angle, find the sum. All of us got only 180 degree. At least we know for 40 triangles, this statement is true. But for any triangle, still we are not able to accept it. We have not seen because 40 is a small number for a child in 8th standard who has learned already till millions, right? So that is where many times there are content like this in our subjects, this is one of the generalization, which is the basic for mathematics to learn higher education mathematics. Even in higher classes or higher education, this particular thing helps to be the basic one. But if a child has to understand, so then there is a need, something which I cannot show. I will not be able to show in a classroom that for so many triangles, it's true. So this is one software by name GeoGebra, which helps people to dynamically use for teaching of mathematics and for other subjects as well. So for example, this looks like how a teacher draws a triangle in the board, triangle on the board, and then just measure it and find like what is the sum of the angles, right? This is like what actually the teacher does in the classroom. So if your classroom is only 40 people and it's a very small classroom, when you draw on the board, all students will be able to see. But if your classroom is little larger size, when you draw on the board, the visibility is also a problem. But when we use tools like this, it can be shown on a bigger size of the screen, right? So now you can see the way the teacher was telling to take 40 triangles. So I can change. Now it's triangle 2. So these are the angles, it's 180 degree. Now triangle 3, it's 180 degree. Triangle 4, it's 180 degree. Triangle 5, it's 180 degree. Now tell the children to count how many triangles I am changing. So every move you do is one triangle. If you keep doing like this, children will not be able to even count. For countless triangle, this is true. So at least children will be in few minutes do this and see that how much ever I change the type of the triangle or the angle, but my sum always remains 180 degree. So this is how a child can understand generalization. This is sometimes not possible. So I'm also taking another way. Usually some teachers teach that with paper cutting activity. So here you can see that I wanted, basically in the paper cutting activity, it's very difficult to show the sum of the exterior angles. So in graphically, when you, whichever is not possible physically, you can use to show in the digital mode. Interior is easy because you will take a triangle, draw this, cut like this, and then just bring all the things together and keep it together to show it is on a straight line. So it is 180 degree. But what happens with exterior angle is usually what we do, we draw a triangle, then extend the line, then cut, and then we will bring it. Now you can see now here exterior angles are marked. I'm trying to bring all the exterior angles together, and I can say that it is always 180 degree when you take the exterior angles like this. So you can also change the triangle and keep showing. You change however you want the triangle, but still the angle is always 180 degree. So this is how technology can help the child to understand, which is at least something which is not possible in our classroom. So I'll also show you some other example. You must have heard about it, PhET simulations. Like I'm taking a simple example from chemistry. So like how many of you are science teachers here? Can any of you say what is the pH value of blood? What is the pH value of human blood? This is a common point which all of us should know, not being a science teacher. We should, all of us should be aware of what is the pH value because it is related to our health. Any answers? You can write it in chat box or you can open your mic and speak. 7.3 to 7.4, okay. Any other answers? Nearly 7.5, 7.35, 7.5, okay. So out of 100 people in the meeting, 112 people, only hardly not even 25% of the people know what is the pH value to give an immediate answer, right? This is what happens when we conducted we asked the same question to science teachers during a science enclave. So we asked like, what is the pH value of human blood? Some of them said, they told a lot of answers like this. Some of the teachers told very correctly also. So let us see this by doing it. So let me take blood and check what is the pH value. It's around 7.4. Now the question to the teachers was, what will happen to the pH value when I add water? When I add water to this particular blood, what will happen to the pH value? Don't know. Very nice answer. Somebody has written, I don't know. So whoever knows, you can write. It will decrease. It will come to neutral. Okay. Any other answers? It will decrease. Okay. Why it will decrease? Sunil sir, you have written it will decrease. Why it will decrease? Sir, you can open the mic and speak. We have given rights for you to speak. Sunil sir, can you unmute yourself and tell?
Ma'am, the solution is getting diluted. It's getting thinner,
So
no?
it is getting solution is getting diluted, so it will decrease. Okay. Any other answers? Most of you have written decrease only, right? So let us now check what is happening, whether it decreases or it increases. So I'm trying to add water. What's happening? It is decreasing. So this is what many teachers also told. Because it's diluted, it decreases. So whenever you dilute a solution, the pH has to decrease. Now let's take another item. I'm taking chicken soup. What is the pH value here? 5.8. Please keep observing what happens when I dilute. What is happening? What did it happen? It started increasing, right? So then the conclusion which we made in the previous statement that when you dilute something, it decreases is wrong. Because when we diluted chicken soup, it started increasing. So students also comes to conclusion like us only. Because usually they think that pH value is something related to the thickness. Like somebody has written, it became thinner. It became diluted or thinner, so it reduces. But that's not the truth. The pH value increases or decreases not because of the dilution. It is because of the reaction between the hydrogen atom which is there in your water. So this is something, a chemical reaction which they learn. So somebody has written because pH value of water is 7, so it increases the pH value of chicken soup. Then it should have increased the pH value of the blood also, right? Depending on type of solution. So these are the variety of answers you are coming. Now we can see this is how students also will think. When we give time for them to explore like this, students will also get this kind of different answers. Then they'll come, when they come with the answers to the classroom, teacher can say, rationalize the answer behind every option which has come. So the way we said, no, this is not because of this reason. This is because of this reason. So most of the time, this reasoning skill is something which we lose because we don't have time for them to explore. So this kind of digital tools help people to explore themselves, try to work out. So in this particular software, like in this particular activity, a child has options to at least try out with these many items and then come to a conclusion. They'll be able to come to a conclusion there is something else. But the common thing is water. So what is there in water? Solution keeps changing. So is there a commonness in the solution? Or commonness in the component which you have taken, or is there something because of water? So this will really make the child to have questions, and that will improve the curiosity for the children to really work on learning the content. These are some of the things which they'll not be able to really otherwise understand. Okay, so that is one of the reasons where we say that when you use technology, technology can help in visualizing things which they cannot see otherwise. It also helps the people to engage. It also helps the people to collaborate. It also helps the people to use multiple media. And it also helps to do better data management. When I conducted this activity, 152 responses have come. It did the complete data. It analyzed the data which has come and gave a little larger font to the text. Words which have come based on the frequency of the word, it has changed the size of the words. So that is where it helped me in few seconds to understand with what the common points which everyone has learned or everyone could recall. So this is how the technology can help to better understand the data and manage data. So that is where we wanted to understand how to integrate the technology in our classroom. So for how to integrate, I'm going to just take you step by step through a process instructional designing model called ADDIE. There are several instructional design. Instructional design is nothing but a systematic planning of things towards reaching a particular outcome. There should be compulsory an outcome. Without outcome, even if you plan systematically, then it's not called as instructional design. Whenever we wanted to really achieve in our educational setup, there is an outcome that we want to achieve by a process. So to reach that, we have to plan a proper thing so that we'll be able to reach that particular outcome. So that is what we call it as instructional design. Even when we prepare chai or a coffee or tea in our house, we follow a process. We first think what type of tea I want. What is my need? Do I need a milk coffee or milk chai? Do I need a chai tea without milk? Do I need a green tea or a black tea? Do I need a tea with sugar, without sugar? So each one of our need may be different, right? So in general, if you see, there may be a season which decides the preferences. It may be a region which decides the preference. When we went to Manipur, we saw most of them take only lal chai, not milk tea. Wherever we went, they were in Manipur, they were giving us lal chai. It's like not a tea with milk. So we were saying, right? Preference of people would be a particular thing. So it may be the preference, the need may be due to the context where they are. Maybe the place, maybe the situation where they are in, what they are doing, which level of people they are. So all this preference may come due to which people, who are they, right? So there are certain things which makes you to take the preference. So when you prepare even a tea, we first decide, what do I need? Do I need to prepare it first of all, and what do I need? Once I know what do I need, then I plan whether the things are available with me to make that. Only if I am having that, I'll go ahead for preparing it. While preparing also, I'll do it in a process. I'll not just randomly do something. There will be a process. I'll boil the milk, then pour water or pour both things together. So there may be a process in which we do, but there is a process. That is what instructional design means. So whenever we decide to integrate technology also, we need to do instructional designing, which can follow any one of the instructional design model. One of the simplest and most common model is ADDIE. So in ADDIE, the first step is analysis. So what do we analyze when we wanted to really use technology? First thing we need to understand is we have students and teachers who have, some of them have computer, laptop, smartphone, all devices with them with 4G connection. Some of them have only smartphone with 4G connection. Today also, out of this 112 people who are attending this training, you can put yourself in which group you are in. At least right now, all of you are having some internet connection with smartphone or with some device. We are all in the first three category only, or maybe the first two categories. But there are students and teachers who are in the other categories as well. So whenever we plan the technology integration, we always need to first think about the purpose. Do I need it or not? If I don't need it, we should not use technology. If you need it, then only we need to use it. It's not mandatory that we need to use it for everything. It is only to be used when it is required. So how do we decide this purpose? Maybe sometime the content needs technology. So for example, when I was showing this, in this particular thing, the content demands it. So let us also do one small other experiment. Sorry, not an experiment, other small activity. Can you all download this app in your mobile? Skyview Lite. Can you all download this app in your mobile? By the time I'll be, just give for downloading. So by the time I'll show you something else. This is also available as app. You can download and see, but I'm going to show it in a particular thing. So like, for example, if I'm teaching in social science about Ajanta caves, but I'm in a place where Ajanta caves are very far from me. I've never seen it. So I will not be able to really show to my students. So how do I show how Ajanta cave looks like? So for example, here I'm searching. Now I just scroll it up and I can see there is museum view. So I'm using this. So in this now I have entered into cave number 19. So how does the cave number 19 look? There is Buddha statue. So I can see here around. So there is more of Buddha in different paintings are available, which is already half, like it's already spoiled here a lot. We can see that the paintings are not so clear. It looks very old. And you can see there are at the top, there is a kind of an architecture where again, Buddha's carving is there on the top as well. So cave number 19 is full of Buddha, but it's all different positions. So let me go and see whether, so can I come to a conclusion whether all the caves in Ajanta is only having Buddha? So I can go one by one like this and see to understand whether all the caves have Buddha statue or not. So when I go to this cave, I'm just checking whether there is a statue. There is no statue in this cave. So we can say that all the cave do not have a statue. And if you see in this particular place is closed here. Nobody can enter into it because it has only a glass thing which you can just see. I can also zoom and go inside and see to the till the end. When you are teaching many things like the shapes, the patterns in science, mathematics, you can use all this to really go. This is like a 360-degree view of everything. So I'm just showing in a mobile, like I'm showing in the desktop. So I was opening with my mouse. You can install this in your mobile and you can see that you don't need to download it. You don't need to use your mouse, but hold your mobile like this and turn. You will turn to the left, you see the left side of the cave. You turn to the right, you will see the right side of the cave. Can I request everyone to open Skyview Lite and just to see around you and tell me what are you seeing? Can you all see one?
Ma'am, you have got muted.
I've kept it muted for waiting for them to give the answers.
Okay, ma'am.
After opening this app, ma'am, I can see the constellations, planet, and the stars. I think so.
Can some of you open your mic and also speak, like what did you see?
Ma'am, actually, I can see the constellations, planet, stars, and like that, solar systems.
Are you able to see the constellation in the sky or inside your room, sir?
Yeah, inside my room, I can see this, ma'am.
Yeah, inside your room.
Yes.
Right? Was it nice to see a constellation and stars inside your room?
Sure, ma'am. It's like a 3D view. So nice.
It is very nice for us. So everyone is able to see, at least you can explore this and see. When you see this, this is not possible for us to go to the sky and see everything directly. But it is giving a argumentation where you are inside your room, but your room has you are able to feel the sky inside your room, right? Your room have become like a sky now, right? So this is what we call it as augmented reality content, which can also help you to visualize. So when you have like in this, it is all mostly like you just turn and then you see. But if you have a virtual reality kit, when you wear and see, it will be looking as if you are part of this particular cave. So there are virtual tours in this site where you can, if you have the kit, then you will be able to see that as well. So sometimes the content like this demands technology, which is not possible in other ways to make them visualize. There are certain content which is, there are certain situation where learner demands the technology. For example, one of you have told that we need multiple ways of showing to children because learners are all of different learning styles. Some people are auditory, some people are visual learners. So I need a multimedia to be there. So sometimes learner demands. Sometimes if the child is having some challenges, like maybe a disability. So if the child is visually disabled, you may need actually to have content which have audio. If the child is having a visual, like a hearing impairment, then you may need a sign language video. I request all of you to mute your mic.
अगाडिको दिन पढाएँ म त थिइनँ अगाडिको दिन मलाई त याद थिएन
So sometimes learners demand the technology, and the last thing, sometimes the context demands the technology. So the thing is, maybe you have a large class where you wanted to show an experiment, but you're not able to really do in the front and everyone is not able to see. So in that case, you may need digital technology, right? So that is where we need to first analyze and decide, do I need technology or not? Once I decide to use technology, I need to decide what technology I'll use. Maybe if I have decided to use some digital content, which digital content I will use, which will be suitable, I should decide upon that. So these are some of the type of forms of digital content. I'm not going to explain everything. If any of you are not clear of anything in this screen, you can write in the chat box. So I'll explain that alone. If you do not understand anything in the screen which is given, please type it in the chat box so that I'll explain that. So all of you know about all this. Okay, immersive content. Right now, the sky view light which you used is an immersive content. You have become part of. So immersive content can be of multiple types, like it can be an augmented reality, or it can be a virtual reality, or even now as a mixed reality content. What do you mean by immersive is you be part of it, right? You are getting into it. When you see the sky view light, you feel as if you are part of the sky. So you have got immersed into that particular environment. So that is one of the immersive content. Virtual reality is like, there is a difference. Like augmented reality is now you are in your place. Your place is augmented to have something. But virtual reality is like, it will look like if you see the Ajanta cave with the virtual reality kit, then it will look like you are in Ajanta itself. Virtually, you have traveled to Ajanta and you are there to see it. That is virtual. So in all these ways, you are part of the environment. So that is what we mean by immersive content. What is meaning of energized textbook is what you have in your hand. You all have book which is having QR code in it. That itself is an energized textbook. Physical book is energized with the digital component, right? So energized means from the basic feature, you are giving some additional feature to it, which can enable it to enhance the usability of that program. So for example, in India, we are energizing the textbook by adding a QR code and connecting the digital content to it. Some of the states are energizing the book where they scan an image and simulation comes up. But if you see some countries, even the book energize as up to 15th, 16th level they have gone, where in the book itself, when they have a doubt, they can immediately chat. When they are reading the book, if they have a doubt on a word, they can click on the word and go to dictionary, go to encyclopedia and learn. So energized textbook can be of multiple levels, but the basic understanding is anything having a physical feature, you are adding features to it to make it more beneficial. So that's what energized textbook means. So I think only 2 questions have come. 2 questions have come for us, like, no, which you do not understand. So these are the 2 things which we can understand and we can move forward. So the very first thing what we need to decide is which digital content I wanted to use. When even if you decide I want to use video, we also need to decide that which form of digital content will you use it. Whether my video will be a screencast video, whether my video will be a Vox Populi format, whether it will be a talk, whether it will be a documentary, depends on your content, right? So if you don't understand any of the words in the screen, you can type in the chat box. Whichever you are not clear about what is given on the screen, you can type on the chat box so that I'll explain that. Docudrama, okay. So mostly we are aware of drama, right? We all know that drama means like, okay. Drama means it's more of creativity in it. I can think of anything. I can write anything on my own, whether it is correct, wrong, there is nothing like that. For example, I can write, how will Gandhiji react towards non-violence if he is alive during 2023? That could be my drama, an imaginative story, right? But docudrama means a drama which is completely, the script is written based on the available documents. For example, you wanted to show how Gandhiji followed non-violence. So you cannot write your own story. You can have to have a reference of a document. In this document, it is clearly mentioned that this is what Gandhiji did. So in the drama, the scene has been added. Whenever you say docudrama, in drama, you may depict, like I may also act like a Gandhiji. You can look at my features. My features do not have any resemblance to Gandhiji. But simply I can dress up like Gandhiji, put my head like that and act. But in docudrama, you're not allowed to do like that. So what we need to do is in docudrama, it's more like exactly costumes, exactly the way they are, look like, the features, all has to be there as per the document, even the voice in which they speak. It all has to be there. Some of you have asked, what is glass screen? Glass screen is, you must have watched videos, like, no, you must have watched videos of Baiju, where the presenter just keeps standing like this, moving the finger, the content keeps writing before them. So that is a glass screen video. Basically, when we wanted to write, what we do, we turn back and there will be a board where we write. Or the board, like there will be a board on the platform where you write and a top camera will cover. But if it is a glass screen video, the board is in the form of a glass before you. So whatever you write, it is transparently visible to others. So this kind of video format is more useful when you wanted to have more of writing and explaining or drawing and explaining, then you have to go for a format of glass screen. So we also have Vox Populi. People were asking, what is Vox Populi? If you see mostly, like for example, everyone has come across Vox Populi. During elections, if you see in TV, there will be screening that happens, like saying, going to public and asking, whom do you think that who will win this election? Why do you think like that? So what happens is, in that video, usually they capture the voices of the people. Vox Populi means voices of the people. So many times, like classes like sociology, psychology and all. So whenever the content has perspectives involved in it. So we need to have a video, not lecture video where a person is sitting and talking. But if the content is from different perspectives, you may need to make them understand. then you have to have a video of Vox Populi format so that various perspectives get recorded from the people to make the person who's reading that understand what is the perspective the person should take. So depending on the subject and content, a person should choose which particular format the teacher has to use for integrating digital technology. It's not only the digital resource, the teachers can use digital softwares as well directly to use it. So if you see here, there are various tools for different subjects as well. Like for example, the way I showed GeoGebra. So GeoGebra is not only for mathematics. You can also teach economics with this. You can even teach, like for example, demand. So if you see supply and demand is something they learn in economics. So you can usually, these are the graphs which they use Excel sheet and then plot it and then show. But here GeoGebra can be used like this for teaching economics also. You want to teach physics also, you can teach. So you can take like the content which is relevant to you. For example, I want to talk about convex lens. So I can just take convex lens with concave length. What is the difference between? So you can take many things which is there. You can also teach. This is not that you need to always take it. You can create yourself also all these things. This is a sample. So for example, when you say like when my image, where is your object and where is your focus so that where your image will be. So you can move your object and show. If I keep my object here, where the image will fall. So if I change the focus point, right? So where my image will fall, like this, a person can really show where the image will fall and all that. So this is what technology can do. And there are different softwares like this for teaching different subjects. So which according to the requirement, a teacher can choose. So all the time, it's not that you need to do a digital resource. You should also choose the tools as it is, which can help you to teach in the classroom. So there are so many different resources, tools. How do I learn all this? Within this 5 days training also, you'll not be able to learn all these things. So, but you have to learn one by one. So what NCERT does is, you can just go to CIET workshop. Sorry. Go to CIET website. There under activities, there are 2 programs which is there for your continuous learning. One is webinar. In webinar, if you see, there are several sessions, around 900 plus sessions have been taken, and you will be able to watch these sessions to learn one by one. Okay. And if you wanted to participate in learning to get certificate, then you should go to workshop and training. So currently also there is one training going on. This is short 5 hours workshop which you can learn on your own. So these are all the completed online trainings. So there will be upcoming training. So every first week there will be a training on cyber safety. Every second week there will be a training related to NEP. Every 4th week there will be a training related to development of e-content. So when you go here for any particular program, you will get to see which are the 5 sessions. You will have what are the people, who are the people who are taking, and all the presentation and the video links will be available. You can also go directly register, participate, and if there is a particular time when it will be, till when it will be open. So today is already 11. So this program is already closed. But now the program is running. So on the last day, the assessment will open and within a week, it will get closed. So you can go to the post link, attempt the assessment, and whoever gets 70% and above can also get certificate. So this is how you should keep learning, right? You can also use digital. When you integrate technology, you can use technology in 4 ways. You can use the tool in as a supplementary, or you can use it as a complement. In what way I am using this presentation now in my session? Have I used the presentation as a complement or as a supplement? Have I used it as complement or supplement? Can you give your answers in the chat box? Complement, okay. Any other answers? So mostly you have understood that it's complement because it's not supplement, because whatever I'm teaching, it is supporting, right? It is just complementing me. It is enhancing what I'm telling. So if you generally see, when they give compliment, when you buy Nescafe, they will give a box or a spoon. Why do they give? You can use a spoon to take the coffee powder, or you can use the box to put the coffee powder. But when you have less calcium, they will give you supplement, additional, right? Similarly, we also can use technology to add to what we are doing, or we can use it to support what we are doing. Right now in this session, I am using this presentation as a complement to support what I am telling, because what I speak may not reach you. Maybe your network is poor, sometimes it gets breaking, but the visual makes better for you to retain what I am speaking here. So right now I am using this as a complementary resource. The presentation I am using is a complementary resource. But you can see in the chat box, just now somebody wrote that if the person, just now I saw a command, okay. So if our respected trainer provide recorded video at the end of the session, it will be more helpful to us. When I record this complete session and give it to you, it's not just going to complement alone. If the same video is going to be given to you, it will still be only a complement. Whatever I have told here, it is only for you to recall. But if I feel it was only 1.5 hours, I couldn't complete everything. So today I have just spoken that you can use complement, supplement, integrated. But if I make a video, along with this having examples to it, and then if I give you, then that will become a supplementary, because it will add to what you have learned today in the session. So there are two ways you can use it, as a complementary or as a supplementary. You can also use it at the level of integration or infusion. For example, this particular activity which we did is integrated. Why? The software is separate, the content is separate. So I can simply change this also. I can use the same tool. I can segregate the content and tool here. But when I go to GeoGebra, you cannot segregate content and technology. Technology is built on the content, and content works because of the technology. So in that situation, it is infused. So basically integrated means if you mix pepper and sugar, you can mix it, but again, you will be able to separate it. You can separate pepper separately, and you will be able to separate the sugar separately. That is integrated, just to keep you understanding. In case, what we mean by infusion is, for example, if you mix water and lemon juice, you cannot segregate the lemon juice separately and water separately. But if lemon juice is more, you will feel the taste and difference. If water is more, still you will see its impact in this overall juice. But you will not be able to segregate and show once you have mixed. So that is how certain technologies are. Right? There are certain technologies that can be simple that we can use. So when you see this particular tools, digital tools, there are tools like Marble, Calcium, Avogadro. These are all infused level tools, which you cannot change the content. The content, based on the content, the technology works. The technology is working based on the content. So you cannot segregate it. But tools like Inkscape, Tux Paint, all this, like, you can keep changing. Tool is same, but you can keep changing according to your need. Content can be segregated from that. Subject can be segregated from that. So that is how you have digital tools that can be used to multiple levels. But If you use the technology in this higher levels, like as a not as mostly we use it as complement or supplementary level only, but if we use technology in integrated and infused level, it will transform our education. So mostly when we do this use of technology, we should be very careful, thinking that we should take care of what do they know, what are they going to do to the end. So both the things are very important when we plan our ICT integration. We need to decide on what instructional material will be suitable for the learner, for the content, and for the context. All the three things we need to very clearly understand. We also need to choose the content presentation. In which form I'm going to give this technology intervention. If I use a digital resource, in which form, so that the learner's participation can be encouraged. And also, we should always plan assessment and follow-up activity during planning the instruction. But the very important point that we need to keep in our mind is we should always have a blended learning approach, and we should focus on embodied learning. Right? To do this, we should be able to really try to have the knowledge of technology. We should also have the knowledge of pedagogy. We should be able to have the knowledge of psychology, sociology. These are the things which you have learned in B.Ed. Because you should understand the learner. For understanding the learner, you should know educational psychology. To understand context, you should know educational sociology. To understand the pedagogy, you should know all your pedagogical content you have learned in your BA. To know the content, you should recall whatever you have studied in your master degree and bachelor degree. The new thing which you are learning is technology, but we should know how to integrate it appropriately. Only then we can develop or integrate technology in an appropriate manner. So when we say blended learning can be done in multiple ways. It's not always only online and offline blend. In online itself, there can be multiple ways of blending. In offline also, it can be multiple ways of blending. I'm not expecting you to learn all this, but it is only to show that there are various models of blending that can happen. You can learn this by joining some good course so that you can use blended learning in an appropriate manner in your schools. The last point which I wanted to actually tell is we should focus on embodied learning. Embodied means you should involve psychological, you should involve cognitive and physical. Many times when we use technology, we forget that we have to bring the physical part. So we can see this short video where I'm just going to move a little and so I've just shown you a small example. Usually this is something which we do in our classroom. We ask students to come to the board and then click on that and then do which is the right answer. But in this activity, if you see, children's complete physical body is involved. So usually when we do technology, many times we forget that children has to be physically involved. Right now, already more than a hour, you are all sitting and continuously watching the session. How many of you feel that, okay, let me continue the session? Already many of you must have become restless, right? You wanted to now get up, go for a walk, have a chai. So many times in digital, when we use digital technology or when we use online mode or ICT, we always forget the physical and the psychological part of it. So we need to consider that also while we develop. And the fourth stage is evaluate, implement, where whenever you want to integrate technology, at least do a pilot and see in your classroom whether this works in my classroom or not. When it works, share that story with others. When it doesn't work, also share the story with others so that they will try whether similarly they have a problem or not. And once you implement, you also need to evaluate. Evaluate not only the performance of the student, but also evaluate the reaction of the student, whether really children like the technology, whether children wanted to use technology or wanted activities more. So that is a part of evaluation we should be able to do. So until and otherwise we systematically plan the integration, we will not be able to make a effective classroom. So I'll stop here. If any questions, we can take it up. Any questions? No questions. Very good. Thank you so much to everyone for your patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful interactive and informative session. I hope all the participants will benefit from this and they'll implement the same in their classrooms.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.